Okay, guys, let's talk about the European theater real quick. This is going to be a shorter lecture because you guys have covered a lot of the European theater already in world history, and we are just going to get the basics down for what we need to know for US history. So when we talk about World War II, we have the Axis powers and the Allied powers. In the beginning of the war, it starts out with the Axis powers consisting of Germany, Italy, Russia, and Japan. And the Allied powers have Great Britain, France, and the US. We will see that Russia, towards the end of the war, switches sides and allies themselves with Great Britain and the US. They break their non-aggression pact with Germany and really get the Germans in some trouble. So 1942 to 1943, we get the Battle of Stalingrad. This was Germany's attempt to defeat the Soviet Union, and the Axis powers, or the remaining Axis powers, ended up losing about a quarter of their military force. This was the turning point of the war in Europe. Now Germany is having to fight a war on two fronts. They're having to worry about the Soviet Union to the east, and they're having to worry about Europe and America on the west. In 1944, in Belgium, we get the Battle of the Bulge, and this was Germany's last-ditch effort at an offensive attack. They ended up losing, and this loss hindered Germany significantly. And after, it was just a downhill spiral for the German forces. D-Day in Europe, if you hear D-Day, just think of Saving Private Ryan. So it took place on June 6, 1944. It was called Operation Overlord. This is when the Allies launched a massive seaborne invasion and stormed the beaches of Normandy in France. They defeated the Germans, and a gentleman by the name of Dwight D. Eisenhower, who ended up becoming a U.S. president, was the supreme Allied commander and top U.S. general at the time of this invasion. And then we get the Battle of Berlin. Russian forces stormed Germany, and Hitler hid in his bunker while making children and women fight for Berlin. Berlin ended up falling to the Soviets, and on April 30th, 1945, Hitler committed suicide. On May 7th, 1945, Germany signed their unconditional surrender, and the war in Europe was over. This was called VE Day. It was on May 8th, 1945, Victory in Europe Day.